I've put over 100 miles into the New Balance Rebel V5s, and to be perfectly candid, I can't figure out why more people aren't talking about this shoe. At $145, it's cheaper than most of the shoes in my rotation, yet it's the one I've been reaching for the most. It's great for both tempo days, long runs, when you really want to pick up the speed, which makes it a very versatile choice. What's even more surprising is I was such a big fan of the Rebel V3s, but these have really impressed me despite being a different shoe. I wasn't sure that New Balance could recapture what made these so special, but after spending some time running in these, I think that they've created one of the most versatile shoes in the market. Running shoes seem to be getting more and more specialized. These days, it feels like you need 2 to 3 pairs in your rotation: a daily trainer, a long run shoe, a tempo shoe, race shoes, and if you're new to running, your head might be spinning. I know it was for me when I first was getting started. What does a long run shoe versus a tempo shoe mean? What does tempo mean? I've been there. As a new runner, I don't really think that you need to worry about having specific shoes, but as you start to take on more structured training and find yourself with a tempo or an interval run on your schedule, you might find yourself in the market for a pair of shoes like this. But maybe you don't need something different at all. What if you could just have one shoe that can do almost anything? I do think this is where the New Balance Rebel V5 shines. And if this is the first video of mine you're seeing, hi, welcome. I'm Shannon. I am a full-time working mom with big endurance goals. I love running, whether it is on the road or on the trail. I also enjoy mountaineering and summiting peaks. If it involves being outdoors and pushing my body in some sort of way, I'm into it. So the products that I share are products that I myself have tested and spent time in that I am happy and excited to share with you all. Disclaimer time. I paid for these shoes with my own money. New Balance has no idea who I am or the fact that I'm making this video. These words are all my own. I just like to share my experience with people who may be looking for a little feedback. Maybe you've been looking at these and you want to know how they feel. This is purely anecdotal. If you are looking for a pair of running shoes, it's always best to go get fitted at your local running store because everyone's needs are different. Go support your local running store and get a fitting. Okay, I'm actually gonna back up a little bit because I have history with these shoes. I have owned the New Balance Rebel V2, the V3, and now the V5. I also have raced in the New Balance Super Comp Elite carbon plated shoes. I completed 2 marathons, 3 half marathons, and a handful of 5Ks in those shoes. So I'm no stranger to this brand. But when it came to longer runs, I was actually reaching for a different pair of shoes. So I had the classic 3-shoe rotation, the New Balance Rebel for tempo and interval runs. I was using the On Cloud Surfer for long runs and the Super Comp Elites for race day on the road. These are road running shoes. The V3 were the perfect shoe in my opinion. And this sentiment was also shared by many others in my run club. Let me call it by its government name. This is the New Balance FuelCell Rebel V3. I'm just gonna call them the Rebels and refer to the version. I purchased 3 pairs of these shoes when I found out that they were going to be changing them to the 4 because I liked them that much. So this is the last pair that I own. They are pretty much, they have a little more life left in them. However, knowing that it will be hard to find them online in my size, moving forward, I knew I needed to go ahead and bite the bullet and try out another pair. So that's when I decided to purchase the V5 and I like them a lot. They're different than these shoes though. These shoes are a lot more streamlined. There's less bells and whistles. They just feel good. They just are not over-engineered. It's surprisingly light and fit my feet like a glove. It's a middle distance star. So while I wouldn't go in any distance over, say, a half marathon, it served its purpose best with interval runs or medium to long tempo runs. The midsole featured the fuel cell nitrogen infused TPU, which I love. It is a buttery soft foam. It feels very spongy, super responsive, and offered a smooth and stable ride. And the lace and heel lockdown felt super secure. They were just great shoes. I really enjoyed them. They've changed, as I mentioned. I do wish that they were still making shoes like this. I feel like all the shoes now have moved to more of this like chunkier, like geometrically foamy design, which it looks good, but these shoes just felt like they fit every nook and cranny of my foot. V3, no more. We've moved on to the V4 and now moved on to the V5. I really did like this shoe a lot. They did a really great job with the V3. Now's a great time to pop in and say that if you are enjoying this video, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a like. As a small creator, it helps my content go out to a larger audience and gives me feedback that you are enjoying my video. And while you're at it, if you are into endurance sports, subscribe. I would love to have you as part of the community. I would love to connect with you if you are someone who is also into these crazy activities. So I'm just going to cover a few things that I heard about the V4. These were things that I read online. I don't have experience with it, so perhaps it's wrong, but these are just the things that I kept reading and that others were confirming via reviews. A lot of people that purchased these complained about a baggy upper. The tongue was a little shorter. The shoe felt stiffer. There was some discomfort mid-foot due to a weird rocker geometry, and they felt flat despite thicker foam. So I went with something a bit more current. I did a lot of research before purchasing these shoes, including watching some amazing reviews and videos here on YouTube, as well as reading different accounts of people who have tested them out and run in them. Plenty of people suggested the Adidas, which I think are great. They're very stylish. I know those are having quite a moment, but I kept coming back to this shoe, and here's why. It's fairly priced, $145. It comes in a ton of colorways. I think it's super stylish. I like the details. These are all aesthetics. Price is important, but these are all aesthetics. So yes, it is a tad bit chunkier than the prior model. It still retains a lot of the classic New Balance features that I've come to love from the V3 and the Super Comp Elite. This shoe is perfect if you were looking for an all-around trainer. In addition to it being great for those interval and tempo runs, it's still great for everyday training. It can handle longer runs. It can handle recovery runs, longer distance where protection might be needed. This was the turning point for me from the V3, is that this shoe can handle longer distances, whereas the V3 fell a bit short in that department. I had really high expectations for these shoes. I've recently hit 100 miles in them and they still feel brand new. I do understand, based on some reviews that I've read, that the foam can start to die out when you get up in the higher numbers mileage-wise, but I haven't experienced that yet. I might lose a little springiness, but I still expect them to serve me well for long runs and perhaps daily training once they start to go beyond their life as a tempo shoe. So who should buy these shoes? Newer runners who are looking to keep it simple with a very small rotation, with a versatile shoe that can do a lot. Runners who are looking to transition from long, steady runs to something more swift and spontaneous. Budget-conscious runners, again, 145 bucks, and you're kind of getting 2 to 3 shoes in one. Runners who are actually needing a tempo or interval shoe, and runners who want a good-looking shoe that stands out. So we're going to talk a little bit about the key features of the shoe, and this is directly from New Balance's website. It's neutral. It's best for quick runs and everyday runs. The fit in the upper is snug yet accommodating. The upper here is a mix of mesh and color blocking details. The lockdown is secure and comfy. The tongue is gusseted and lightly padded. This was fixed from the V3 and the V4. The geometric midsole extends wider and stacks higher than the predecessors. Superior comfort. Super lightweight, springy, and stable without too many unnecessary add-ons. The women's 8.5 clocks in at 6.2 ounces, and the heel-to-toe drop is 6 millimeters. Breathability is great with that mesh upper. This is a race-inspired mesh. This is also featured in my Super Comp Elites. Really appreciate the breathability. Tempo runs, this is where it excels, with an energetic and responsive underfoot when picking up the pace. And long runs, it's still a great choice. The foam is supportive enough to maintain support for many miles. Stability, in my opinion, is even better than the V3, but without feeling clunky. I feel like I can be spontaneous with this shoe, transitioning from steady miles to quicker effort. The Rebel V5's lightweight build, PIBA blended fuel cell foam, and ability to handle both faster efforts and daily mileage are frequently highlighted by reviewers and runners as key strengths. Its $145 price point is viewed as strong value in the current market. And I keep grabbing it because it's a good-looking shoe that performs well from a dependable, reputable brand. It's sleek and I feel fast when I'm wearing them. I'll maybe post another video when we get to 200 miles and see how they've held up. I'd love to hear your story as well. Do you have any experience with these shoes? Have you run in any of New Balance's Rebel models? Which one was your favorite? If you ran in them before and switched, which shoe did you end up picking? As always, thank you for watching. I really enjoy doing these reviews and hopefully you find them helpful. If you did, please feel free to give the video a like. It does help my content go out to a wider audience who also might find it helpful. And if you want to follow along, please subscribe. I've got a couple half marathons coming up in the fall, as well as a 50K that I'm going to be training for next year. Lots more fun training and reviews on the way. So if you're into that, subscribe to see more, and as always, thank you for watching.